painting for me is like, it gives me a sense of calm, like the way that paint glides off a brush, the
Hmm.
mess, the smell, the results that you can get from it. There's something really therapeutic about it for me that I really enjoy. It was the obvious thing that I wanted to do.
Welcome back to Beyond the Palette. I am so happy to be back. This is Whitney Sinkoff, president of Art Dimensions, and the website is artdimensionsonline.com. Beyond the Palette will be dropping the second Wednesday of every month. So please tune in to hear from exciting artists and others in the art world. So here we go with our first episode back after a long hiatus. For those of you who have tuned in the past, the format this time around is similar, but we feature new music by Kobe Brown. For those who are listening for the first time, get ready for some lively, informative, and fun conversations. Today, I am so excited to be chatting with Annie Robb, who's a new artist for Art Dimensions. Born in London, but now living in Los Angeles, Annie started out after university in graphic design. She quickly advanced through the world of advertising, and after co-running her own creative agency for 10 years, she decided to leave the corporate world and concentrate on her own self-expression. Annie's paintings are thought-provoking, but they take a lighthearted and cheeky perspective on life and being a woman in a male-led world. There's so much to learn about Annie Robb, and I'm excited to give you all a glimpse into her creativity and process. Hey, Annie.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And I want to just thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to chat with me. I know you've got kids and a full-time painting practice, and the listeners and I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. How long have you been painting?
I've always painted, like I've always been creative. Making art's always been my happy place. But I guess if you're talking about how long I've been a full-time artist, I would
Yeah.
say I made the full switch to art as my primary kind of occupation about 5 years ago. So around about 2020.
That's not very long.
No, it's not. It's not very long. Before that, I was, still doing freelance graphic design work and painting alongside it.
Oh,
But
you were.
that's kind of when I decided to start turning briefs down and like focus on painting as my, yeah.
Okay. You were involved in graphic design, you had your own company, and now you're a full-time painter and you use wordplay, and we'll
Hmm.
get into this, listeners, more as the episode goes on, so don't be alarmed. But you use wordplay and unexpected combinations. Uh,
Yes.
can you sort of explain how one affects the other, or how graphic design sort of works its way into your paintings and why you choose to use wordplay?
The main thing that I paint is typography, and typography is obviously a huge part of design as well as layout. The idea sort of came to me when I had like a really naff painting, and there was something interesting about it and charming about it, and I wanted to like give it a new voice and give it a new life. And so I decided to paint words on top of it,
Okay.
and it made something that was kind of out fashion and you probably wouldn't have hung it in your home into something like really cool and contemporary and fun. It's my training in typography and fonts and layout that kind of enables me to create these pieces, deciding on colors and fonts and positioning. So yeah, the graphic design kind of was the foundation of leading me into the style of art that I make.
And I read somewhere that your process, you call it beachcombing.
Yeah. Yeah. For people that don't understand what I do, I like the basis of what I paint on and create my art on are vintage pieces, are existing pieces that have fallen out of favor. It's not even just pieces of art. I also paint on other vintage ephemera. that I find. But the beachcombing element of it is like one of my favorite parts of what I do, actually, like finding the perfect pieces to rebirth. Finding the perfect piece gives me like a real intense feeling of joy, like when you find something that you know is going to work so well.
Right.
And I hunt everywhere for, these pieces. So I do a lot of estate sales, I do auctions, I do flea markets. Finding the best pieces is like I say, it's like treasure to me, and I love it.
Do you do this every weekend? Do you go hunting every weekend, or
I'm always on the lookout, always, like every day. I'm like checking and looking and I'm hoping to get some. I've got a show coming up in LA in September, at the end of September, so I'm hoping to have some ready for that.
tell the listeners what that show is? So
Oh, I'm doing the other art fair. So that's at the Barker Hangar. I think it's the 25th to the 28th of September.
September.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Yes, that's a great fair, and I encourage everybody to go check it out and
Yeah.
see Annie's work. You can see it on the Art Dimensions website, which is artdimensionsonline.com, but you can see it in person
Yeah.
at the other art fair.
And there's over 100 artists that show at that fair. So, it
Right.
won't just be me. There'll be plenty of stuff to see and do, and they have loads of activities and fun stuff going on. So it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a great fair. I've been many times. Who are some of your greatest influences?
There's so many. I grew up around art. I guess my mum was a major influence to me. Like, she wasn't a creative as a career choice, but she's a talented artist, although she'd probably deny that. But, I grew up watching her do creative projects and draw and paint. So I guess that kind of inspired me. Artist wise, I love Howard Hodgkins.
Hmm.
He's a painter, an abstract painter, and his bold use of color and the way that he paints. He makes the frames of his pieces part of the canvas, so he paints onto them.
Yes.
Like, I love his work.
Yeah, I've seen his work. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
Ed Bruschka is also like a major influence, obviously.
Yeah.
I remember going to see an exhibition of his at the Hayward Gallery in London on the South Bank years and years ago when I was young, and just being blown away by it. The large scale typography and the bold use of color really spoke to me.
Yeah. He's like
He's the guy.
typography guy. Yeah. Yeah. Ed Ruscha. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's so many influences. Alan Kitching, he's another, like, I loved his work. He's a printmaker, like a letterpress typographic. He makes pieces out of old wooden letterpress blocks.
Oh, nice.
And his work is incredible. So that was a big influence. I think it just, I grew up in London, so there's so many galleries and exhibitions, and I was exposed to it from such a young age that there was inspiration around me all the time.
I love that. Why painting for you rather than, let's say, photography or sculpture? Why painting as a medium?
I love photography also, and I do a lot of personal photography. And also, being an artist, you have to market yourself. So you're constantly having to take photographs of your work and having art direct shoots of yourself in your studio and self-promote, etc. But painting for me is like, it gives me a sense of calm, like the way that paint glides off a brush, the mess, the smell, the results that you can get from it. There's something really therapeutic about it for me that I really enjoy. It was the obvious thing that I wanted to do.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
And what are your favorite materials to work with? Do you paint with oil or acrylic paint?
I do. I love acrylic paint, but mainly the work that I make, I use sign writing paint, which is like an oil-based enamel paint. And what I love about it is the application it's so thick and it lays flat on any surface and it's very durable. I have found myself using that, like I use one shot paint, and there's another brand that I've actually just discovered called Alpha Enamel, which is slightly less expensive and really beautiful, and they have a great range of colors. So that's the paint that I use on most of my pieces, but I do use acrylic for some. I also collage, they're the mixture, but it's mainly I would say mainly signwriting paint that I use.
Those are not acrylic,
No, they're not acrylic. They're oil-based enamel
they're
paint.
oil-based. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it takes a while for that to dry, right? Or does it dry
it
quicker?
it's tacky for, you want to give it 48 hours before you move pieces and lean anything against anything. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, oil paint, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was the first work of art you sold? Do you remember?
I do. Yeah. It was actually right in the beginning when I was just experimenting with things. I had this sort of old Renaissance style painting of a woman, like in one of those big, voluminous skirts.
Hmm.
But it was a bit broken up and it wasn't something beautiful. It was sort of, it needed something else. And so I painted Kiss My Ass on it.
I love it.
And I framed it and I hung it. It was just for me, it was just like a personal piece. So I hung it in my home. And then a good friend of mine came over and was like begging me, like saying, "Oh my God, I love it. I want it. Please sell it to me." And in the end, I said, "Okay, I mean, you can buy it if you want." That was the first piece that I received payment for. And she still has it to this day. She loves it.
And it said "Kiss My Ass"
Yeah.
on the painting. Okay,
Yeah.
what do you remember what color the lettering was?
Using gold, gold paint.
Gold. Okay.
Yeah, because it was a Renaissance style piece, so that gold fell fitting, and then I found a beautiful gold ornate frame for it
Oh
to
yeah, that works with Renaissance art.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Perfect.
that was a good piece.
How large was it?
It was about maybe 24 inches by 18 or something, about that
Okay.
sort of size.
Like a
Yeah,
medium size.
yeah, medium size.
Nice size. Okay. Okay, I know your company, Annie, is called Painting in the Rude.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the listeners how you came up with that phrase and why you gravitated towards that, why you like that, why you use that phrase for your
For my
collection?
work. It was something that I debated with for a while because I know a lot of artists work under their two names. So, but I guess like the advertising background, I wanted something like a catch-all for it. I wanted something that drew people's attention. And
Right? And it does.
I like the pun of like painting in the nude, painting in the rude.
Right.
When I show my work, a lot of people are like, they look at the work and then they see the name and the branding and they're like, "Oh my God, painting in the rude, that I get it. That's funny." Yeah, that was kind of why. And then, the reason is I paint a lot of kind of risque, sexual, rude words on some
Yeah,
pieces.
let's talk about a few, just a few, not too raunchy, but a few of the phrases that you have on your. First of all, everybody can see these at artdimensionsonline.com and also paintingintherude.com.
Yeah,
But you've got Kiss My Ass, you've got Dumb Blonde on a great painting of a blonde.
yeah, that's a great piece.
That's a great piece. What else do you have?
I mean, there's some swear words, which I won't
Yes.
mention on the podcast.
Yes.
There's all sorts of things. Like I remember there was, I had this beautiful vintage piece of like these peacocks, one of them kind of looking directly to camera, like sort of very like showing off. And I wrote, should have seen him coming because
Oh,
as a nod to,
that's
that
great.
guy that you should have been aware of, should have like had a heads up that he was going to be. It's all sorts of things that salty bitch. That's a real popular piece for me. Like
Yes.
I sell so many of those.
That's an actually, I just want to tell people that's the painting. It's a painting of a great, like a pirate ship,
Yeah,
and then it says salty bitch on
yeah,
top, which is great.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's available as a print too. So
It is.
when did you start making prints, the prints of the works?
That was a couple of years ago. I started like diverging into prints because so many people would see a piece online and ask for a print. Is there a print? Can I buy a print? I wanted to offer the audience like an affordable way into owning a piece of
Yes.
my work. So if someone couldn't afford an original, they could buy a print of it. And yeah, I love it. I work with an amazing print studio in LA, and so the quality of the print is immaculate. So they actually, they look like paintings unless you got really close, you can't really tell. So I feel happy with that. And yeah, it's just nice to be able to, I do masses of prints, so it's good to be able to get my art out there for people that, want an entry level piece.
Yes. And do they come in different sizes?
They do, yeah.
Okay.
They mainly are, your standard frame sizes to keep it easy for people and affordable for framing, because framing can be really expensive. So, there's 12 by 16 and 16 by 20, and then some of them are on a bigger scale. I offer a few prints like at a really large format.
And some of those prints, we have some on the Art Dimensions site.
Yeah.
Again, you can see them on Annie's site. I want to talk just briefly, although I was so excited for you about this gig, and this was not something that Art Dimensions participated in, but you had your artwork in Nobody Wants This, which was that show on, was it Netflix?
It's Netflix, yeah.
So tell us for a moment what the artwork was that was in that show, and which print it was. And
they reached out to me. It was before we started working together. They reached out to me, and in season 1, they purchased and licensed 2 prints to have on the main female character's wall in her bedroom.
Right.
And they came back for season 2, which I think airs in the fall, like can't be that long. I think they filmed it, they're in the editing stages, and they asked for, it was a painting that I'd done that I'd sold a couple of shows ago to this lovely client, and it said, "Love her but leave her wild." And it was like this crazy beautiful kind of ornate LA style garden with palm trees and everything. And they licensed the image and they printed it, like I think it's going to be on a huge kind of billboard where the characters like are standing in front of a kind of food truck ordering in front of it. And yeah, so I'm hoping it gets some good exposure in season 2. But it's so exciting. It's amazing to
it's
great.
It's great exposure for you, and just a whole different avenue than probably you ever thought about.
I never imagined that anything like that could happen. So it's super exciting.
That's cool. And hopefully I will be getting you some gigs with some other TV shows and films.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Do you have an overall message in your work? In the intro, I said how it's your commentary of being a woman in a male-led world.
Yeah.
What do you have a message in your work? I mean, it's not all about that, but some of it is just fun and whimsical.
It's not all about that. There's definitely a feminist thread that kind of runs through my work, I would say. It's not like obvious in all cases, but it's kind of the refusal to play nice. It's kind of poking at the line in between what we show about ourselves and what we really think. It's kind of making people laugh or making people feel something.
Definitely.
And double take, truly think about.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Yeah, that's what I love about my shows, like how I end up with like a crowd of people sort of reading all the work and standing and laughing and really engaging with it, which is like part of the fun of it is, seeing people's reactions. And sometimes, you don't know, everyone's obviously so different pieces resound with different people. So it's really interesting to see which people like. So
and what resonates.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women or men or both or whom.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be at the other art fair, and just to remind everybody, it's September 25th through 28th at the Barker Hangar at the Santa Monica Airport.
That's right.
And it's just a great show, and Annie will be there with a lot of her paintings and prints. I want to just thank you for being my guest today on Beyond the Palette. Listeners, you must check out Annie's whimsical and cheeky paintings on the Art Dimensions website and at paintingintherude.com. We're also both on Instagram at Art Dimensions and at Painting in the Rude, so you can follow us there too. And before we sign off, is there anything else you want people to know about you?
I'm British and not Australian. Everyone always thinks I'm Australian, so I don't know how my voice is going to sound on this podcast, but I'm definitely English.
You're English, yes.
If you're interested in a piece, reach out. I'm approachable, I'm nice, I'm kind. So if there's something you see that you like on the site or on Instagram, or on your site, reach out to us because we're here.
Definitely. And, listeners, please know that these works are available for lease and sale.
Yeah.
Set decorators, designers, just keep that in mind. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Listeners, if you're feeling extra creative, rate and review this podcast, please, on Apple Podcasts. That's how I grow my audience. So to all of you out there and to Annie, have a creative month. Be sure to tune in September for another episode. And as always, happy creating.